What's up guys, welcome back to Tradingofftilt. I'm Ryan. In this video we're going to be going over the Elliott wave count for Bitcoin, and the same macro count that we went over in the last video is still the preferred count in this video. So we're going to be calling this all a wave 1, primary wave 1 here. This is a primary wave 2, 3 up here, and we're currently in a wave 4. We could have completed a wave 4. We're going to go into that later, but there are multiple possibilities. However, this is all going to be a wave 4 in this section right here, and we're going to be coming up for a wave 5, all of primary degree. Now, this is my preferred count because this wave 2 is a zigzag or a WXY, but either way, it's a very sharp correction for a 3-wave move for an ABC or a WXY. And this wave 4 is a expanded move for the most part. You know, it makes a lot more sense to say this is an expanded X wave or an expanded B wave in the case that it's a WXY or an ABC flat, or even a triangle for an ABCDE. So it makes a lot more sense to say it's a wave 4 because getting an expanded move, whether it's an X wave or a B wave, is much more common in a wave 4. So if you're calling this all a wave 2, I would say it's a little bit less likely, especially given this extended wave right here. It makes more sense to say this is all a wave 3 because this is extended compared to this wave 1. Also, keep in mind, this move does not take out the low of this move, right? This low does not take out the low of this low right here. So it's less likely, in my opinion, at this point, calling this all a WXY instead of calling it all a wave 2 or a wave 1, 2. And also this move right here looks a lot more impulsive than corrective. Now, if you guys watched my previous videos, we did make the argument that you could say this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and this could be a wave A, this could be a wave B, and this could be a wave C. However, just looking at it, given symmetry in the right look, it makes a lot more sense to say it's an impulse for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as opposed to saying this is some sort of wacky ABC zigzag. So it makes the most sense to say this is a wave 4, and that's the count we're going with currently. And that would mean that this wave 5 is going to be coming in up here, and we're going to be looking for symmetry between the wave 1 and the wave 5 because this wave 3 is extended. You want to look for symmetry between the wave 1 and the wave 5. So what we could do is take a trend-based Fibonacci extension tool, compare the length of the wave 1, and then wherever the end of wave 4 happens to end, let's assume it ended right here at the bottom of this wick right here around 33K. Then on log scale, if we turn fib levels based on log scale, then the 1-to-1 is going to be coming in around 150K approximately. So that could be a good target to be looking for the wave 5. Now, it obviously depends where the wave 5, or rather where the wave 4 ends up being put in, because for all we know, we could still be in a triangle, or we could still be in a WXY, and we could end down here or up here. You just have to adjust the pivot of this tool to wherever we actually do end up putting in the wave 4 to give us the target to the upside, to give us a quality between this wave 1 and this wave 5 based on log scale. So that's the main count we're still going off of. Of course, there are other counts, but this is the most preferable count, taking into account every single Elliott wave rule and guideline. This is really the most sensible way you could count it as of now. So that's what we're going off of. So let's go ahead and zoom in and show you guys what we could be looking at in this section right here. So I'm going to go on the 4-hour chart. And I'm actually not going to be going over the flat count today because it just does not make enough sense to me compared to the other counts. Now, I will show you guys what we would be looking at for the flat count real quick, but I'm not going to be going too into depth today on the flat count. However, I'll just show you guys that this would be a wave A, this would be a wave B up here. To clarify, the wave A would be an expanded flat for an ABC for this wave A. This would be a zigzag for the wave B for ABC, and we would be all in a wave. We would still be in a wave C, or we could have completed the wave C if it were to be a running flat right here. However, expanded flats are more likely, so it would be more likely that we would be in a wave C still. And there's not really a nice way to get a 1, 2, 3, 4 into this move. You can put a wave C right here. So if you were to call this a flat, the best way I would do it is saying it's a running flat, to be honest, on Bitcoin at least, because you can't really get a nice 1, 2, 3, 4 into this move right here. For example, if you were to squeeze in a four waves to give you a 1, 2, 3, 4 of an impulse, you have to say this is a 1, 2, This is all a very long wave 3, and this is a wave 4. This makes sense to be a wave 4 because it's coming in the kind of the shape of a triangle, or it's at least a very sideways correction as of now. However, this would be a very short wave 2 compared to this wave 4, so it would have no symmetry with this wave 4 whatsoever. And therefore, it would not have the right look, and I would not consider these being of the same degree. Rather, I would not consider this wave 2 being the same degree as this wave 4. So if you are going with the flat count, my best way of counting it, in my personal opinion, is putting the wave C right here. And that is a possibility. So that's really all I want to go over as far as the flat count goes. If this is the correct count, we want to see volume coming out of these lows, and we haven't really gotten volume yet. It's still decreasing for the most part, especially if you zoom out on the 1 hour chart. You can see decreasing volume for the most part, starting with this move right here off these highs. So starting with this volume wick down here at the volume profile, you get decreasing volume throughout this correction. And this doesn't really indicate to me so far that we actually did put in the wave C of a flat, because you want to see volume start to break out and start to increase as we move our way into this wave 5, if this were to be a wave 4 being put in right here. So to me, I'm a little bit more inclined to say we're still in this wave 4 due to the volume profile. Now, of course, it is possible if this is a wave 1 and this is a wave 2 right here. I don't think it's very likely, but it is a possibility. And we could be breaking up for the wave 3. If we do get volume on that wave 3 and it comes up, it kind of spikes up quite high, then I will be starting to consider this actually being an expanded flat being put in right here. But as of now, I don't think it's that likely. So let's go into the next count. Let's go into the counts that I actually think are the most likely. And the first one will be the WXY. So I really have 2 counts I want to show you guys today. This would be the bearish count. The bullish count would be the triangle, which would be the running triangle, which I'll show you guys after this one. But this WXY would start out with a expanded flat for an ABC for the wave W. Then it would move into a zigzag for an ABC for the wave X. And we're currently in a wave Y. You know, we could have actually put in a wave Y here. That's a possibility, but it makes more sense given what we're seeing off these lows in this section right here. It looks a little bit more corrective than impulsive so far, especially looking at the volume profile like I mentioned. We're not getting any increasing volume to indicate that we did put in a move right here, that we did put in, you know, the wave 4 via putting in this wave Y. So it does make a little bit more sense to me that we're still in this wave Y if this were to be a WXY. And the way we would count this would be saying this is a zigzag for this wave W. And this would be a triangle for this wave X most likely. There's another way we could count it. I'm going to show you guys after. But this is the first way we could count this wave X right here, where this is all a triangle, where this would be ABC wave A, ABC wave B, ABC wave C. And this wave D is a little bit funky. We might have to say it's a WXY, because if we were to put it here and we were to move the trend line right here, then you guys could see this actually crosses the trend line right here. And we probably have to put this wave E here. However, this move does not come in the way of a 5-wave move to signal that this was the end of the triangle and we are coming down for this final zigzag of this WXY. So to clarify, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but this is all going to be a double zigzag for this wave Y, where this is the first zigzag, A, B, C, wave W. This is just the corrective move for the wave X, and we're going to be coming down for the second zigzag for A, B, C. So that's essentially what we're looking at as far as this WXY goes. Now I'm going to zoom in and show you guys what I was talking about. If we were to put this wave E here, then what we would want to see is a 5-wave move off this wave E to signal that this triangle was indeed complete and that we are going to be coming down for that second zigzag. However, we get a 3-wave move off this wave E for an A, B, C. So to me, it signals that we're still in this triangle, or this may not be the correct way of counting the triangle at all. So another way we could count this, instead of saying this is an A, B, C, D, E as so, the first way is saying this is a WXY for the wave D, where this would be some sort of, you could say it's a double zigzag for WXY. However, since this wave Y does not take out the end of this wave W, if we were to say this is a WXY double zigzag as so, I don't think it's that likely, to be honest. That's the first way we could count it technically. It is possible you could say it's a truncated double zigzag, but it's just not very likely. The better way to count it, in my opinion, right now, would be, instead of calling this all an A, B, C, D, E and saying that wave E is going to come in up here, it makes more sense that we could say this wave X would look like this, where this is all wave W up here for A, B, C. This is all wave X down here for A, B, C. So this would be a zigzag, zigzag, wave X, and then a triangle wave Y, which would be A here, B here, C, D, and E. And I'm going to go into the local time frame a little bit later, but if you zoom into the local time frame, you can see an A, B, C up into these highs right here. And so far, this wave E does not take out the highs of this wave C. So essentially, if we were to come beyond the end of this wave C, that's going to be invalidating this count, because that would be invalidating this being an expanding, or rather being a contracting triangle. And that's going to mean that the WXY count is simply just a little bit less likely. Now, it's still possible. There are other possibilities for the wave X. However, that's going to be invalidating this count, which I think is actually more likely than the previous count that I showed you guys right here. So that's going to be basically decreasing the probabilities of the WXY count, the larger WXY count, I should clarify, as so. So that's essentially what we're looking at as far as the WXY count goes. Now, the next count we're going over, as you guys are probably aware of, is the running triangle, and it makes a lot of sense. I've kind of mentioned this to you guys many times by now, but if you go to the daily chart, or even the 4-hour chart like I was on, you could see decreasing volume from the start of this triangle, which is exactly what you want to see in a contracting triangle. So starting with this wave A, if we look down here at the volume profile, well, we could see the highest spike of volume was right here. And really, we want to be looking at the moving average of volume, because you do get some outliers. You know, you might get a massive spike in volume in the wave C as so, but as long as the moving average is decreasing steadily, that's exactly really what you want to see in a contracting triangle. So what we do see so far is decreasing volume on the moving average line in this volume profile down here. And that to me is really kind of adding a lot of confluence to this count right here, because that's, like I mentioned to you guys, exactly what you want to see in a triangle count, a contracting triangle to clarify. And so far we got a WXY in the wave A. That's really the biggest downside to this count to me personally, because it's not very common to see a WXY in the wave A. It's more common to see it in the wave C, D, or E. Most typically in the wave C, you'll get the WXY. However, in this case, we got the WXY in the wave A. Now, you don't always have to get the WXY to clarify, but oftentimes you will get one wave within a triangle that is a WXY, which is a complex wave. And that means all the other subwaves have to be zigzags. So you have to get 4 zigzags within a triangle. So a triangle has 5 moves, A, B, C, D, E. One of them can be a WXY for a complex wave, and all the other subwaves have to be zigzags. So in this case, we got it in the wave A, which, like I mentioned, is not that likely, but we kind of have to just go with what we got. And that would be giving us a zigzag for the wave W. So A, B, C for the wave W. This would probably be, there's multiple ways we could count this, but my favorite way to count it is saying zigzag in the wave W, triangle in the wave X. If you were to zoom in, you could get a triangle out of this wave X, which ends right here, and then expanded flat in the wave Y, which would be A, B, C. That would give us this wave A. Then moving up for this wave B, zigzag, down for the wave C, zigzag, A, B, C. And then this wave D, we're going to be predicting another zigzag, which we're going to go into later. I'm going to show you guys the counts we could be going off of to give us a zigzag for this wave D. But that's essentially what we're looking at for the triangle count. And we want to continue to see decreasing volume or steady volume for the most part, because if we do get increasing volume as we move up, as we move our way up for this wave D, that could be signaling that we're in another count, or we could have actually put in the low right here of the primary wave 4. And we could be moving up for the primary wave 5, and that's going to mean we're going to be going all the way up here to this price targets, maybe 150K, like I mentioned to you guys at the beginning of the video. So that's what we want to really be paying attention to, because if you do get volume breaking out, then price is probably going to follow it. So keep your eyes on the volume profile to give you an indication on what count we're actually in. Hey guys, I just wanted to pause the video real quick to mention that we do have a Discord server now. The link is in the description. It would be great to see you guys on over here to see your guys' Elliott wave counts, your analysis, your price targets, the upside and the downside. And I'm also sharing my analysis over here. So if you guys want to see all that, if you want to participate, that would be great to see you guys on over here to get some more active discussions. And also, I am doing one-on-one coaching now. So if you want to have a session with me then you can contact me through my email down below in the description, tradingofftilt@gmail.com. And yeah, let's get back in the video. And essentially what we're looking for is a zigzag in the wave D, like I mentioned. And the most typical target for a zigzag is the 1-to-1 of the wave A. So to clarify, you want to look for a quality between the wave A and the wave C. So we're going to take the length of the wave A using a trend-based Fibonacci extension tool. And we're going to compare the length of the wave A compared to the bottom of the wave B. So we're going to assume the wave B was a triangle so far for an A, B, C, D, E, and it ended right here. Then given this count, we're going to want to be looking up here. Well, this is on log scale. So let's go on to, since we're on a little bit lower time frame where we're looking at more local prices, then we could be looking at levels that aren't based on log scale. So you could really be looking at both 1-to-1s on log scale or off log scale. I'm going to be going off log scale. I think it has a little bit more confluence around this level right here, around 50K. But essentially, yeah, that's how you're going to be finding that target for the wave C, because that's going to be giving a quality between the wave A and the wave C, and that's going to be coming in around 50K, which has a lot of confluence up here. I could go into a little bit later. Now we have this golden pocket up here pulled from the high of the wave B to the low of the wave C. And that's going to be coming up here around 55 to 57K approximately. And that's going to be around this order block right here. So you have a lot of good resistance around this level as well, which we could be looking out for, especially if we come above this 1-to-1 right here. So those are really the two main levels that I'm going to be looking at towards the upside as far as this wave C goes. So now let's go ahead and zoom in into the local time frame onto the 1-hour chart, and I can show you guys what we could be looking at in this section right here more locally. So I'm going to hide this count right here. We're going to zoom into the 1-hour chart as so. And I'm going to basically show you guys every possibility we could be looking at in this section, or at least every likely or feasible possibility that we could be looking at off these lows put in on the 24th of January. So let's delete this trend-based Fibonacci extension tool. And the first one I want to go over, like I mentioned to you guys, is the WXY. So that would be putting in this wave W right here. I just kind of want to show you guys a more zoomed in view of it. So that would be this being an A, B, C. And this would all be a zigzag. So this would be probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this wave A. A little bit hard to get a 5-way move into this wave A, but it is possible. This would be a running flat for this wave B for an A, B, C. And this would all be most likely to get proper symmetry in the right look. A 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5. Now, this wave C is not really easy to get a nice 5-way move out of, especially this last wave right here. You'd probably have to say this is a wave 3, 4, and a very short wave 5. So you don't get a whole lot of symmetry between this wave 5 in this wave 1, which you do want to see most often in an impulse. So I would not say it's super likely this is an ABC, but this is really the best way you could get an ABC out of this move right here to give you a wave W. And it makes, to be honest, saying this is an ABC or an impulse, they're both not perfect. You'd have to say this is a truncated wave 5 to get a nice impulse out of this move right here, which is the best way I could get an impulse out of this move. However, truncated wave 5s, we have to be honest, are not that common, all things considered. But we kind of have to just go off what we have. And the two possibilities we do have are calling this all an ABC as so, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, I just had to mention that wave C is pretty ugly. This wave A is pretty ugly, so it's a little bit difficult to get a nice 5-way move, rather a nice 3-way move to give us a zigzag for an A, B, C to give us this wave W. But that's the first possibility we're looking at. Then we come down for a wave X, also not perfect because the best way to get a 3-wave zigzag out of this wave X is saying this is a wave A, B, C. You guys could already see this is a very short wave X compared to this wave Y. And in a zigzag, like you guys know, you want to see some symmetry between the wave C and the wave A, which you don't really get in this move right here. So that's actually why I'm a little bit more inclined to say this all is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'm going to be showing you guys that a little bit later. This is really the first count we could be looking at. But given this count, we're currently in a triangle, or we actually could have put in the high of a triangle, the wave E of a triangle, to put in this wave Y. And that would be an A, B, C, D, E. Where this would all be a wave A for ABC, wave B for ABC, C for ABC, D for ABC, and we came up for a wave E for an ABC. So that's essentially what we're looking at in this count right here, this local WXY count, and that's going to all be in the context that we're looking at that larger WXY, where this would all be a wave W being put in here. This is all a part of a wave X, where this wave X could have been put in right here for the wave when the wave Y was put in of this triangle. And then we're going to be coming down for this wave Y, this larger wave Y. So overall, a very bearish count, because if we zoom out onto the daily chart, then what we're looking at for this count is most likely for us to come down all the way down to low 20Ks or even below 20K into this order block right here, because that's going to be giving us symmetry with the first zigzag. So typically for double zigzags, not always, but you want to look for symmetry between the first zigzag and the second zigzag. So I can show you guys real quick. If we measure the length of this first zigzag, which is going to end down here where this wave W is, and then compare it to the end of this wave X, so we're going to assume it ended right here for this wave E, then on log scale, the 1-to-1 is going to be coming in pretty far down, around 19 to 20K. So that's why I have this target down here around 19 to 20K, and it's going to be coming into this order block right here, which would be a pretty nice place to be looking out for a bottom if we do indeed break out of this triangle and start breaking down on volume for an ABC to give us that second zigzag of the double zigzag. So that's the first local count that we're looking at right here. Now let's zoom in to the 1 hour chart once again. And the second count we're looking at would be, I'll show you guys the bullish count, and that's going to be this one right here. And I actually favor this one a little bit more, I have to be honest. I'm going to show you guys a little bit later as to why I favor this count a little bit more, but this is basically the bullish count that we're looking at, and that's going to be coming out, that's going to have us coming up for this wave C to the 1-to-1 at least, in my opinion. And that would be in the context that we're in the triangle count, the running triangle count. So essentially what we're looking at in this count is for us to have come up for this wave A. So this would be a 5-way move for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I like this count a lot more because, you know, like I mentioned, first of all, getting a truncated wave 5 is not super likely. However, in this case, this move right here is much more impulsive than corrective. So it makes a lot of sense to say this is a wave 5 instead of putting the wave 5 right here. Also, this makes a nice ABC for a flat down here, for an expanded flat down here to give us this wave 4. And expanded flats tend to be pretty common in wave 4s, so it makes a lot of sense to say that is a wave 4 there. And this is a truncated wave 5 right here, given the impulsive nature of this move. So it's going to be looking the same as I showed you guys earlier. However, this is just going to be a wave 1 as opposed to wave A. This is going to be wave 2 for a running flat. And then it's also a lot nicer to count up for this wave 3, because instead of putting this wave 1 here and saying this is wave 2, that would not look like a wave 2 whatsoever. This would not look like a wave 2 whatsoever because it's a very flat, shallow correction, which is much more characteristic of a wave 4. So this would be much more a 1, 2 here. This would be a 3, 4, 5 for this minuet wave 3. Then we come down for an ABC up for the wave 5 to complete this wave A. And that brings us into the wave B, which actually looks a lot more like a triangle now that we've kind of given it time to play out. You know, we were first expecting it to be something like this, where this would all be a zigzag for the wave B. However, after giving it some more time to play out, it looks a lot more like a triangle, where this is all wave A down here for ABC. This is a wave B for an ABC. This is a wave C, ABC, D, ABC, and these all do make zigzags. So if you zoom in, and these all do not perfect zigzags, I have to admit, you know, this wave A, we have to put the wave A all the way down here. This is wave B, wave C. So a pretty long wave A compared to the wave C. However, these do all make zigzags for the most part, where this is ABC wave B. This is ABC wave C right here, and this is ABC wave D. And then also this is ABC wave E, and that would be putting the wave B of this triangle, rather of the zigzag. So that this B would all be a triangle, like a contracting triangle. And theoretically, we should be coming up to this wave C right now. So I'm going to be actually zooming in to even a lower time frame to show you guys what we could be looking at in this section right here a little bit later. But this is basically what we're looking at as far as this count goes, which I'm considering the local bullish count, because that's going to be assuming we're in the triangle count, which is going to mean we're probably just going to come out for the wave D. and then come down for the wave E, which is going to be above these lows right here if it's a contracting triangle. And then we're going to be coming up for the wave 5, as opposed to coming all the way down to those low 20K regions in the case of the WXY. So that's essentially what we're looking at. Yep, once again, we're looking for this 1-to-1 up here around 49 to 50K. So actually we could derive the 1-to-1 a little bit differently if we pull it as so. So we're considering the orthodox top of this wave A right here, because that would be putting in this wave 5 right here, even though it's not the exact top of the wave A, which would be right here of the wave B of this expanded flat. This would be the end of the wave A, therefore it's the orthodox top, and we can measure the bottom of wave A to the end of basically the orthodox top of wave A, which would be right here, and then compare it to the low right here. So that would actually be giving us a target that's about $1,000 lower than the other target that I showed you guys earlier, which would have been around 50K, and this would be giving us a target around 49K, which would also be a pretty nice level of confluence to be looking out for towards the upside, to be putting in this wave C. So yeah, that's the second count that we're looking at on the local time frame. Now I'm going to show you guys the bearish count, another bearish count we could be looking at, which I don't think is as likely anymore, but I still have to show you guys all possibilities. And this is the second possibility we could be looking at, where this is all ABC up here into these highs right here. And instead of this all being a corrected move right here, this is all part of a longer correction, which is all going to be part of that double zigzag. So what we're looking at off the highs of this wave C. So to clarify, this wave C is actually going to be putting in the wave X of the double zigzag. So instead of the double zigzag, the wave X of the double zigzag coming in the way of a triangle or a WXY, it comes in the way of a zigzag for an ABC. So this wave X would end right here. And off these highs of the wave C, we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give us a wave 1. Then we come up for wave 2. And then we theoretically should be in an extended wave 3 right now, where we came down for a wave 1. We're coming up for wave 2. We're going to come down for a 3, 4, 5 to put in a minute wave 3. And then we're going to come up for minute wave 4, down for minute wave 5. That could be putting in a wave A of the second zigzag of the double zigzag. Then of course we're going to come up for the wave B of the zigzag, and then down for the wave C of the zigzag. That's essentially what we're looking at in this count right here. However, the reason I don't think it's as likely is, first of all, because the volume profile is not really matching up with what you would want to see if this were to be the breakout of this corrected move right here into a second zigzag. So for example, if this is a corrected move right here, this is a corrective wave X right here, then you want to see ideally increasing volume off the break of the wave X as we make our way into that second zigzag. And we don't really get that because if you look at the volume profile in this move right here, you actually get higher volume than you get off the break of it in this impulse right here. So if this is all a zigzag right here, and this is all an impulse, then typically you want to see higher volume in the impulse. Now that alone is not really invalidating the count to me. However, it's just kind of taking away a little bit of confidence that I would have had in this count otherwise. Also, if you zoom in over here, if this is all a corrective move for a wave 2 right here, then what you see is you actually get higher volume in this wave 2 than you get in this impulse right here. Now, this is actually a bigger factor to me than what I just mentioned, because if this is all the impulse and this is the correction of this impulse, then what we see in this impulse, rather what we see in this correction for this wave 2 is higher volume than you get in the impulse, which is to me not really indicating that this is indeed impulse and this is a correction, which we're assuming given this count. Because given this count, we're assuming this is a wave 1 and this is a wave 2. And ideally for a wave 1, you want to see higher volume because it's an impulsive wave, and you want to see lower volume in the correction, which we don't really get. So that's the first reason I'm not really favoring this count as much, the volume profile. The second reason I'm not really favoring it as much right now is because more locally, what we were kind of looking at right here is if this were to be a wave 1 as so for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into these lows right here, then so we come up, okay, so this is all good and fine. We come up for a wave A right here, which is a 3-way move for an ABC. We come down for a wave B, which is a 3-way move for an ABC. So that would be kind of giving us the assumption that we're going to get a flat because this wave B comes past the 90% retracement level of this wave A. So that would be the perfect setup for the wave C of a flat to give us a 5-way move for a 3, 3, 5 in the wave C, where this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, if we zoom into this wave C, it's not really that likely that we are going to be getting a 5-way move out of this wave C anymore, because I'll go into this a little bit later, just the very local counts that we could be looking at in this wave C. However, we'd probably have to say this is a wave 1 here. It could also be like this. This could be a wave 1 as so. However, this would have to be the first wave 1 of the wave 3 because it can't be a 3, 4 since this actually overlaps this wave 1. So if this were to be a 3, 4, it would not be a valid impulse. The only way we could count it otherwise is saying it's a diagonal, which is not very favorable. It's not really that favorable to me to call this a diagonal as so. But that's the only possibility we could really get a 5-way move out of it, because if we were to say this is the first of the third as so, then to get proper symmetry in the right look, then we're going to have to come up for a 3, 4, 5 to put in the 3, and then we're going to come down for a wave 4, and then up for the wave 5. And that's going to bring us very high up. That's going to probably bring us above these highs right here for the wave C of the flat if this were to be an A, B, and this wave C ending all the way up here. So that's the second reason that I'm not really favoring this count as much right now, calling this all a 1 and a 2, and we're currently in an extended third. But it is a possibility. This could be a pretty funky wave C, rather a pretty funky wave 2 right here. And this could be a WXY of some sort. So it still is a possibility, especially if we do start breaking down pretty soon. If we maybe come up a little bit higher and then start coming down for this wave 3. That's when we could start considering it a little bit stronger, but as of now, it doesn't really look that likely to me personally. But I just kind of want to show you guys all the counts that are possible, and this is still possible. It's just not likely to me personally because of those reasons that I listed. All right, now I zoomed into the 5-minute chart to show you guys the main local count that I'm going off of in this section right here. Basically everything off the lows put in on the 7th of March. And I do show you guys these counts ahead of time in the Discord server. So if you're not already in the Discord server, go click the link down below in the description and you can join us on Discord to see these counts ahead of time before I actually post these videos. But this count is going to be looking like this, where this is all a zigzag up here for an A, B, C. Very long wave C, so it is possible to see this in impulse for a 1, 2, perhaps 3, 4, 5. But I was going off the triangle count, the bullish triangle count, which would look like this, where we put in a wave E right here. And in order to get a wave D, you have to get a zigzag. So this would be an A, B, C for the wave D. And it makes the most sense to me, especially comparing this count to the count on other markets. It makes the most sense saying this is a 3-way move up here for this wave D. So that's what I did, and that would look like this, where this would be ABC for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down for wave B, this would be a very extended wave C for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to put in this wave C. And then we move into this triangle, well actually this ABC, this would all be zigzag for this wave B. So to clarify, this would all be minuet wave A right here. Well, actually, this would be part of the triangle to clarify. So this would all be wave D of the triangle. This would be wave E of the triangle being put in right here. And this would be a zigzag for the wave E of the triangle, which would be a 1, 2. This would be extended third wave, 3, 4, and then down for a 5. And that would be putting in the wave A of the zigzag. Then we come up for a wave B via a contracting triangle for an ABC, ABC wave B. This would probably be ABC wave C. ABC wave D, and then if you zoom in, you could get an ABC wave E. Then you come down for the wave C, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to put in the wave E of the triangle. Then in theory, what we're going to be looking for is coming out for that larger wave D, rather that larger wave C, which is going to be putting that larger wave D of the running triangle, the macro running triangle that we were looking at earlier. And that's going to be coming in all the way up here, presumably around the 1 to 1. And like I mentioned to you guys, what we're looking at here in this section to give us a bullish impulsive move off these highs, we probably have to say this is a wave 1 here. And I count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be an A, B, C. This would be putting in a wave A of an expanded flat. This would be the wave B of an expanded flat. and this would be the wave C of an expanded flat. Now, this is a very expanded wave B of an expanded flat, so you have to consider all downsides to, whatever count you come up with. You have to consider the downsides and compare those downsides to whatever downsides are present in other counts that are possible. And we have to consider this is a pretty expanded wave B. If we look at the Fibonacci expansions, it comes past the 1.618 level of this wave A right here. So a very expanded wave B of an expanded flat. Now there's no hard rule for how high the wave B could come. There are guidelines to kind of show you that it's not very possible for the wave B to come this high, but it is possible. Now the alternative that I was going to mention to you guys, instead of calling this an expanded flat for A, B, C, we could also say this is all putting in that wave 1 right here, where this would instead be something along the lines of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only problem with this count is you don't get very much symmetry between the wave 4 and the wave 2. The wave 4 comes in the form of a zigzag for an A, B, C. Not very common for wave 4. And also the wave 2 off these highs, if this were to be a 1, 2, does not really give us a nice corrective structure. We may be able to say this is a 1, 2. This could be this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give us the wave A of a zigzag. This could be wave B. This could be wave C, perhaps. However, I don't really favor that as much. It makes a little bit more sense to me, all things considered, to call this an ABC expanded flat. Now, at this point, it doesn't really matter because they're both going to give you the same result. But I just kind of want to show you guys that for educational purposes, when you're in the moment and considering the possibilities, you need to take into account all factors like that, all rules and guidelines that are present in the Elliott wave principle to kind of help guide you towards the right count. So that's essentially what I have, where this is an ABC. It makes a little bit more sense to say this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the wave C of a flat, to put in this wave 2, and then coming off these lows of this wave 2, we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, where this would be actually a flat for the wave 4, A, B, C, and then we get this very long wave 5 to put in this subminate wave 1. And what we got off these highs last night, after putting this wave 1, we got more of a 5-wave move. So I'd be very surprised if we do end up coming up above these highs like this. Now, either way, it's very unlikely for a correction to end like that. It's much more likely for this to either be the wave A of a flat or the wave A of a zigzag, because corrections very rarely are this short compared to the impulse. So taking time into account, this is very unlikely to be the end of the correction. And it's much more likely to simply be a wave A, where this could be the wave A of a zigzag or a flat, like I mentioned. Now, also, if we were to zoom into this section right here, it's much more of a 5-wave move. So I'm kind of favoring the zigzag count a little bit more than the flat count, because in order to get a flat count out of this, you'd probably have to say this is an ABC or an ABC. And simply put, the 5-wave move, the impulse wave, makes a lot more sense than trying to force in a 3-wave move to give us the wave A of a flat. So that being said, for a zigzag, you can't have the wave B come beyond the beginning of the wave A. So this would be, if we do come above this high around 41.7K approximately, then that's going to either mean one of two things. That's going to mean we put in this correction right here, where this was some very abnormal correction. This was perhaps some sort of very sharp ABC, because the thing is, whenever you see a 5-wave move, you have to consider two things. Is this an impulse, or is this the wave, rather, is this a wave 1, or is this the wave C of a flat? Now, this cannot be the wave C of a flat, because you don't get a wave A and a wave B to give us that wave C of a flat. For example, you'd want to see a wave A, a wave B as so, and then give us this wave C, which we don't get. So that to me indicates this is probably a wave A of a zigzag. And like you mentioned, if we come above this high right here, that's going to mean this was some sort of funky ABC zigzag for this wave A. We're probably going to be coming up for an ABC for the wave B of a flat, and then come down for the wave C of a flat. Alternatively, like I mentioned, this could be some sort of funky correction. This could have been A, B, C, and we could be shooting up. We could have put in this wave 2 and come up off these lows for the wave 3. That's the alternative possibility. However, I kind of favor this being a zigzag, like I mentioned, given the 5-wave move we got off these highs. So I think it's less likely we do take out these highs right here without at least getting a rejection down here for the wave C. So for all we know, this could be putting in this wave B right here of the zigzag, and we could be coming down for wave C of a zigzag. And as long as we don't take out the lows of this wave 1, it's going to be a valid wave 2 correction. So that's what we want to look at. We really have two levels that are pretty crucial to be considering right now because they're going to be indicating what count we're in. If we do take out this low right here, much less likely this is the bullish count, and much more likely this is a bearish count where this is simply an A, B, C, and this is a wave 1, this is a 2, and we're coming down for a 3 if we do take out this low right here. However, if we take out this high right here, more likely that this is a 1, this is a 1, 2, and this is all an extended 3. Because that would mean that we're either going to be, so we could either be in the wave B of a flat, and this could be the wave C of a flat, but either way, that's just going to be the correction before another move up, or this could have ended the correction and where we could just be moving up for that sub-mini at wave 3, which is all going to be part of this mini at wave 3. So I apologize for rambling, guys. I hope you guys understand kind of what I'm getting at in this local time frame right here and kind of how I'm viewing the charts as of now. And that's mainly what I'm looking at in this more local time frame and kind of how I'm viewing it in terms of Elliott waves and how I'm planning to trade it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it educational, and I'll see you guys in the next video and in the Discord server. Take care. Bye.